Attention without any intention is the best thing that you can do for yourself. That's what silence means. You're attentive, but you have no intent.
Red, the protagonist of the original Pokemon games, and the only playable character that reappears in later Pokemon games as an opponent. And that too as one of the greatest trainers in the history of the games. Not only has he been the one to single-handedly stop Team Rocket, but he has also gone on record for having the strongest Pokemon thus far in a regular Pokemon battle. His legacy within the Pokemon world is one that's known to many, but it's a legacy that he accomplished in almost absolute silence. Silence is something that most people don't know the value of. If we look at the world around us, everyone seems to be in a state of urgency to express themselves, whether it be in social media, or the news, or simply between friends and family. Very rarely do you find people who are willing to sit there and listen, to sit there and observe, to simply sit there and take in everything that's happening around them. Most people don't know how to stay silent, and that's because they think they know. And those who know can never stay silent. Those who know that they do not know will anyways be silent. When you go on a journey or an adventure, you go to explore, you go to learn, to experience, not to express yourself, but to take in and behold everything that you possibly can. Because by wanting to go on a journey, you realize that there's something that you've yet to experience, something that you want to experience. Otherwise, where does the need to go on a journey even come from? Every time we start an adventure in a Pokemon game, the protagonist of the game always remains silent. And it's because of this silence that we're free to experience the Pokemon world the way it is. If Red had an opinion or a thought every time we came across something new, then the whole adventure gets tainted with prejudice, and our perception of the journey or the world as a whole will get distorted. It's only because the protagonist has been made to be silent that when events take place in the games, we, the player, can see exactly what's happening in the world, not as it's happening in the mind of someone else. The more you can clearly perceive what's happening in the world around you, without any thoughts, opinions, or prejudices to distort your judgment, then naturally you'll be able to function much better. You'll be able to function as needed in the world around you. And above all, you'd be able to learn more from the world around you. And I would say that this is part of the reason as to why the player character always manages to become the best trainer in the games. Sure, of course, in the end, the reason why the player character is always the best is because it comes down to the sake of the plot. But you take a look at yourself and see. If you and your mind become quiet, if there's not much noise that goes on there, then your ability to perceive will be greatly enhanced. Once your perception increases, then what you grasp, what you can take in and learn, also gets enhanced. Red and every other player character are always shown to grow quicker than most other trainers, sometimes even being referred to as a prodigy. And if you ask me, it makes sense to their character, only because they've chosen to be silent. They've chosen to look at the world in awe, rather than to constantly express themselves to it. Every other character in the games is constantly communicating something or another, but the player character is always simply just taking in the world around them, allowing them to learn from the world much better than everyone else. What I'm saying in this video might confuse you, but you try to look around the real world and see, what is it that we really know about the world? What conclusions can we really draw upon it? The way everything on the planet is happening, the way the whole existence is functioning. Can any one of us really say that we know what's going on? By creating false conclusions about life, we close the doors to the possibilities that life has to offer to us. But by being silent, by being willing to pay attention and admit that we really don't know a thing about this existence, then we can look at the whole world in awe and really explore it and even learn from one another. In this time and age of massive expression all over the world, see if rather than compulsively expressing yourself, see if you can consciously take a step back and choose to listen and observe, and learn from the world rather than always sticking to old conclusions. It will make a tremendous difference for you. And when you do express yourself, your expressions will be much more profound and have much more meaning because your expression is coming from a place without noise, from a place of silence. And if you think it doesn't, well then, you'll at least know the power and the impact of silence, as those who are silent will always have the most powerful presence. If you really want to be heard, become silent. You will definitely be heard. If you don't believe me, ask Red. 3 dots was all that was needed to be said for his presence to overwhelm you. And those 3 dots remain to be one of the most memorable lines in all of Pokemon. That's Red. That's the power of silence.
Unless you have something meaningful and worthwhile to say, either in terms of activity or in terms of question or in terms of a comment, otherwise you must be silent. More than being silent, the most important thing is, you must keep this compulsion that you have to communicate all the time, either like this or like this. This longing to communicate with somebody, don't think you have something fantastic to say. This longing to communicate is coming because you feel incomplete otherwise. That is exactly what we want you to address, not avoid. You do not avoid your sense of being incomplete, you confront that. Why is it? When this life has come as a full-fledged life, why is it feeling incomplete? We have to address that, we have to confront that, not avoid it by getting distracted with conversations.